This is Film Don't Lie on A2D Radio. We are brought to you, as always, by Alonzi Travel, specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Reach out to get a quote and start planning. Charles at alonzi-travel.com. That's my work email. You can reach me at. Seriously, it's beginning of the year. It's January. This is the prime time to start planning those vacations. So if you're interested in one, hit me up and I'll see if I can help you with it. It's your boy Chucks. Pete is here. He's going to be on. He just had to run and take care of something, but he will be joining me shortly, very shortly. But we wanted to get started on the episode. So we've got a lot to cover. First round of the NFL playoffs, the 2026 NFL playoffs, the wild card round, super wild card round as they call it now. So we're going to recap and give our quick reactions to each of those games. We don't want to get too in depth with most of them because we have a lot to cover and we're trying to keep this to like roughly an hour long show. So we're going to give some quick reactions to each of those games. But then we're going to preview real quick each of the other games for the divisional round playoffs. Those 4 games coming up this coming weekend. And then for our no huddle, we are going to touch on some of the major coach firings around the NFL that's been going on. So action-packed episode for you. So definitely if you're watching us last week, I was recovering from being sick still. I still am. As you can hear, I still have like a little bit of a cough. So I apologize for that. I hope whoever's listening, you are doing well out there. You're staying healthy and whatnot. But yeah, it's definitely still 6th season going around. But anyways, the first round of the NFL playoffs, the wild card round. Let's start with, as we always do, our home turf. And I'm sure Pete's going to have a lot to say. As you know, on Eagles Talk, which was on Monday night. That was our, by the way, housekeeping. There are Eagles Talk. We had our final episode of Eagles Talk on Monday night. That show is coming to a close. It was a really, really great show to end it. It was long. We covered a lot of stuff regarding the Eagles, how the season ended and what lies ahead for them. So if you have not been able to catch that episode, go check it out. Again, a lot of good stuff we covered on there. I definitely want to get Pete's, I'm sure Pete hasn't been able to speak on it yet, or his thoughts about the loss. But I will go into some things regarding the Eagles loss. It's not surprising. And I had said on social media that it's kind of poetic that it kind of happened the way it did, because everything that we had seen from this offense, all the concerns, all the issues, they came up again. Everything came up in this loss, from the horrible play calling once more, the offense disappearing in the second half, struggling in the second half, bad run blocking, operational issues with the clock, the offense not being on the same page. We had drops, we had penalties that called back big plays. Everything was there. So it's kind of poetic that the things that have been ailing this team just were the reason for their downfall. And the news broke today that Kevin Patullo is out. Now we're still looking for clarity on whether that means he's completely out, he's out of the building, out of the organization, or if he's being just moved to a different position. So we'll see. I think it's leaning toward he's out of the organization. But again, we will wait and see we'll see how they clarify that. So he's gone, and I think it's pretty well known. I think it's pretty accepted throughout that he was the biggest issue with this team in this season. And I honestly believe that even with the struggles of this offensive line, and how bad it was, I still think that if we had a competent offensive coordinator, that the Eagles would have a really good chance of repeating. We would have won against the 49ers, and our chances against anyone else, not only in the NFC, but the league as a whole, like NFC and AFC, our chances were really good because our defense is that good, and we still have great talent on the offensive side of the ball in order to get us there. We just needed competent play calling, which we didn't get, and that's why we fell short. So that's not surprising. And again, it's just poetic how it came about. And it's also a thing where I don't, and I had told, all my friends, I told Pete in our chat and everything like that, I'm not really mad because like all of my anger had been kind of used over the course of the season. And it's like I had nothing else to be mad about because this is nothing new. So it's also like in a sense a sense of relief that hey, we don't have to put up with it anymore. And as flawed as the offensive coordinator was and the play calling was, now we get to say, hey, let's get I guess you can say a head start, or let's get like started on the new coaching search and fix this as we head into the offseason. So not really that angry. I'm at peace with it already. Like really quickly, I was at peace with it, and I am excited for what the offseason holds for the Eagles. I have nothing else to say in terms of the film from that game because it's the same stuff. For me, there's no need to rehash because it's the same issues over and over. So I'm excited to what lies ahead for the Eagles, and I have we'll get into it, I guess, when we get to the NFL coaching, when we talk about the firings around the league. We'll get into like who we want or like who we're thinking the net potential candidates for the next OC job for the Eagles will be, and at the bottom of the show. But yeah, those are my thoughts. As Pete, as you can see, Pete has joined us. Pete, I just went over pretty much my thoughts and how just like it was poetic, how the season ended pretty much how it did, how we kind of expected it to, and that I'm good. I'm good with it because I want the offseason to start for the Eagles so they can start fixing this thing.
I think for a lot of us, if you have some of the know, when I say some of the know, like you watch football from a different lens, like the Eagles are our favorite team, but we enjoy the game of football and the intricacies, still can't say it. Intricacies. There you go. You said the nuances of football, right? And the ins and outs and the X's of those. The show is called Film Don't Lie, and we've been watching this on film, and it's like for the past 4 months where we're just watching this team beat their head against the wall. And some of the things that have come out less than 12 hours since Patullo's been relieved of his duties has been this dude complaining to other people saying we're too hard on him. This job is too hard. And this is where I'm like, if this is who you were, how did Nick not see this, for one, right? So up until this point to where they've been released, and then we saw it's going to be circulating these comments of what he stated, how he said what he said about Jalen per se, and we see this here, and I'm like, how was this not there? But before this, I felt, you know what I felt? I know we said it after Sunday. I was like, relief, frustration a little bit, but more importantly, I feel validated. I feel validated in my feelings that this was the end result. What we all thought the ending was going to be. It was so predictable. And in the midst of you wanting it to happen, the end was inevitable. 4 go routes, no other options. Right? And I hear clowns like ESP, and I called him a clown. I would say it to his face.
Yes. Yep, I would too.
I don't just decent fashion sense, horrible football sense. Saying Patullo did this, Patullo did that. It's not about one particular play on the last drive where you see somebody open on the drag route. That's not it. It's the culmination of things and the sequencing and the timing of how these events transpired and how we got here. Hell, you can even go back and say in week 18, was it right enough for Sirianni to rest his players? Because with the offensive line, it didn't look like it made a difference. So in the second half, it didn't. And this team wasn't really, lately, they haven't been bad in the first half. The first half has been good. But once you get out of that and you make adjustments, we all seen it. And we're going to continue to see it. If you haven't heard the remarks that Patullo said, he never adjusted in the second half. He never could get the concept and the grasp of the actual position down to be able to even begin to implement off script. And that's the lack of, that's not the lack of faith, but that shows the faith that Sirianni had in him. And he wasn't the right man for the job. But guess what? This is the second time he's done that. It's the second time he's done that. We've taken the Los Angeles Chargers castaways OCs and made it to a Super Bowl. We did it with Shane Steichen, and we won a Super Bowl with Kellen Moore. And both of those OCs, under Jalen, who's supposed to be this freaking bad of a dude who can't do this, who can't do that, he got those dudes jobs.
He did it. Yep, and he did it.
You see what I'm saying? He got those dudes head coaching jobs, and Steichen and Kellen Moore, and they are still there. I think Steichen's probably going on his fifth season now. And you look at the Saints, their offense with Tyler Show towards the last 4 weeks of the season, they were averaging 20-something points. If the average points for the Eagles ended the last 4 weeks that started with the 2 in the 20s, we'd be having a different conversation. It starts with the 1, and it's a high team. Yeah. That's not good enough. And I did not want to be fooled into thinking this was fool's gold and something can happen. We want to catch lightning in the bottle. It was never going to happen. And the reason why it was never going to happen is not because of the players. It's not because of the personnel. It's not because of the matchups. It's because the ideology never changed. Yeah. If the ideology doesn't change, it doesn't matter if you feel as if you're going to drive 40 miles an hour, no matter what the speed limit is. I don't care if you have a 1986 Cutlass or if you have a 1995 Pontiac Trans Am or you have a 2026 Supra. It doesn't matter because your ideology, how you're approaching your mode of transportation is never going to change. And the ideology for Kevin Patullo and how he was approaching this offense in game and pregame never was going to change. So when you have that, you can understand the frustration with A.J. Brown. You can understand the frustration with Jalen Hurts. You can understand the frustration with Saquon Barkley, even Devontae Smith. I know Devontae made a comment saying this is the same offense we've been running all the time since I've been here. Nah, fam.
They took
the concept. The base of it's the same, but Kellen Moore did a little razzle dazzle. He did, and it wasn't even so much. I don't think Kellen Moore reinvented the wheel because I think he's doing more complex things in New Orleans. But he had a better feel of when to call what plays at the right time.
And he sure as hell wasn't calling the same 4 plays on one drive.
Oh, my God, bro. So I'm like you, where I'm happy that I'm relieved that it's over. But it is bittersweet. You feel indifferent almost because I literally just now before I came on, I was looking at the schedule and I was like, this team should be playing this week with this roster. And now you're starting to hear the highest paid offensive football, the highest paid offensive football, the highest paid offensive football. 4 months ago, they should have been saying that, and they should have been beating that into the wall because then maybe Howie or Laurie would have took more assertiveness and stepped in, or Nick would have stepped in. Right? It's almost one of those things to where how much fault of this truly do you put on Patullo because he does carry the accountability, but ultimately there are going to be some people out there who say he should have never been put in that position in the first place because he was passed over once in 2023 when they went to Brian Johnson, and it was almost like he was just the last dude standing, and Nick felt the most comfortable with him, and he had been around the longest. It's like he almost got the job based off of seniority, not qualifications, right? So it's a waste of a season. It's a waste of a season to where now you may lose Reed. You're most likely going to lose N'Kobe. You may have to get creative and bring Jalen Phillips back. But the strength of this team, being the defense, may not be the strength next year as in how it was currently constructed this year. Not maybe Jahad could take a next step. Forget Barnes now 2 years. He's going to be 2 years removed from that All-Pro season that he had. And he didn't. I mean, quiet as kept. He wasn't the same player this year that he was last year. Not to the level. He didn't drop off the level of some like Landon Dickinson dropped off from last year or how Cam Jurgens dropped off from last year. I mean, and listen, I'll say it. Tyler Steeden did okay, but I wish we had Mekhi Becton. And Mekhi Becton, based on what he said lately in the public, wish he was still here. You see what I'm saying? So it's you, and especially what you look at the slate of teams that are left, and we're going to get into it. My mom asked me today, she was like, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? I have no idea. No
one knows. No one knows.
I can tell you
any of these teams.
Yeah, I can tell you from week to week matchup who I like more, but that's not set in stone. You take that with a grain of salt. I won't know who's going to win the Super Bowl until I know what the Super Bowl matchup is.
Yeah, or even then we might not know. Even then it might just be like toss up. So
okay, yeah. I digress. I mean, you can take it wherever you want to take it.
No, I definitely wanted to get our thoughts on how what the Eagles are going to move forward. And, it's frustrating because there's no point in recapping. Like I said, there's no point in going over the film of a loss that was the same script and same stuff that we've seen the whole season. So,
right.
With the Eagles, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the OC search goes. All right, so let's get to the next game. I was thinking about going chronologically, but I want to touch on what I thought was the best game of the entire weekend, Bears-Packers. So, again, we'll keep these. We don't have to dive too much into it, but like,
when you say best game, from what aspect?
The most entertaining.
I almost think the Panthers and Rams it kicked off with a bang.
No. So like when I say this was the most entertaining, that's not to diminish
as far as the players, the story, the matchup,
and the fact that the Bears did it again. They just did this weeks ago. Yeah. And this is the division rival, so like. Again, there was so much into this game. And again, the fact that I don't know if you saw my tweet, but after this game ended, I did tweet you, and because I shared our clip from our show last week when we talked about like the keys to the game, right?
You want me to bring you down right now?
Huh?
Do you want me to bring you down right now?
No, you don't have to. Well, go ahead. What happened? Did a report come up?
So Josina Anderson, it was just shared in our chat. A league source says Cliff Kingsbury are running up when the team hired Kellen Moore, and Kevin Stefanski will get a real look for the Eagles' offensive coordinator position, among other options. And assuming head coach and signings don't supersede the team's vacancy.
I'll please Kevin Stefanski. I please let it be Stefanski.
This man does not. First and foremost, the way you spell Cliff, I can't even rock with you from that. Cliff with a K. Like, it sounds like it's a brand of peanut butter or something like that. You know what I mean? I know. I told you. I said, do you want me to bring you down? I knew it was good.
Well, there's still hope. I really hope it's Stefanski. So we'll see. We'll see. Until, all these rumors, there's rumors all left and right.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. From what I remember 2 years ago, Kellen Moore wasn't even mentioned until a little later in the process. He wasn't even like one of the first few people that were interviewed. Like if I'm wrong, someone please correct me. But from what I remember,
he was hired very, very late in the process, and that's kind of what led us to the situation that we have now, which I would have thought Howie and Nick and Jeff would have been in a better position and have the foresight to say, hey, all right, we're deep in this playoff run. And inner work is like we've seen when Harbaugh got let go, teams were calling about Harbaugh in October. So the same thing, we have a tampering window, and then you see it in the free agency, you see it in the 2-day free agency window before it actually opens up in the NFL, you see it in the NBA all the time. These feelers were out there. I feel like Jeff and Howie and Nick had a sense that Kellen Moore was going to be the candidate. And remember, the Saints were making it very, very public that they weren't filling their vacancy until after the Super Bowl. So that you didn't have the best litter to pick from, but I would have almost rather gave a shot to a guy I could maybe completely different. I don't know, something different. But as you were, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break it down.
No, you're fine.
So do you want? So before you get into it with the most entertaining game, just softball it, right? Who are your top targets for the OC position? Real quick, don't have to go into detail. Just real quick.
Top targets are McDaniel, Monken, and then Daboll.
In that order.
And Daboll, I will say, Monken and McDaniel are probably like by a hair, and then Daboll I'd say is like a tier down. I don't like Daboll as much as the other two, but I'm not. In no way am I saying he would be a bad hire. I would be absolutely on board with Daboll. I think he makes sense. He doesn't appeal to me as much as the other two. That's all.
I would probably go Monken, McDaniel, Daboll. And the reason why I say Monken first is because I've seen what he can do with a running quarterback. Obviously, Lamar runs more so than Jalen. But like you stated on Twitter, if you haven't followed Chuck, he's a great follow on Twitter. You see his handles right there. The way you broke it down to how he was meant to be able to marry certain concepts, and I think he had history at Tampa Bay before.
Yes, yeah, that's where he was before.
Like he can whatever the strength of the offense is, whether it's the running game or the pass game, or a marriage or balance of both. McDaniel, I would say conceptually, scheme wise, yes. I don't know if his personality yet is ready for Philly.
That's where the hiccup is. Yes, that's where I won't say concern. The drawback is because you don't know, like, does his personality fit this? Also, like his relationship with Fangio, like, is that good? Like, is it a good relationship? So I get that. I think for me, and I know that there are others where, like, let's say McDaniel's philosophies they don't align with our roster, which I understand. But for me, the way I see it is, if the Eagles were to hire McDaniel, that gives me the awareness to say, hey, they want to think outside the box and really bring in brand new stuff to this. Like, really, really expand the playbook to do things we're not used to seeing. So that's where I'm just like, I like to be able to bring in as many new things to what we do as possible. So it's more like where others see like a concern with fit, I see a challenge of, hey, let's diversify. That's where I'm coming from. But it's Monken is right there. Like, they're neck and neck for me. And yeah, I laid it out on Twitter, but pretty much the reason why I would love Monken is because he's able to take various personnel groupings and formations and use different concepts in each to kind of like accentuate or highlight different focuses of said personnel. So, like, for example, and I had a lot of help reading Kevin Wynn's article from The Athletic, because he did a good job of outlining some of this stuff. Because he had an article, I think, before the season where he asked a bunch of coaches, and he ended up ranking the play callers in the league. I think Monken was 7th. And in the blurb, it explained how, like, an AFC coach was like, it's hard because he can give you a look with a 2 running back set, like a 21 personnel set, and they're going to pound the rock at you. He's going to make sure he has a lot of good run concepts from that look. But then he'll go to next time, he'll go to 11 personnel and be able to spread stuff out and use that spacing to be able to focus on getting your wide receivers in space. So it's like he's able to meld a lot of philosophies together, especially when you talk about, remember when Derrick Henry went to the Ravens?
Yep.
And one of my things was like, okay, like, how are they going to do this? Lamar lives out of the shotgun. Derrick Henry lives out of under center and pistol. Well, how are they going to do this? Monken seamed that together so well. Like, the way he sequences both of them to where they're both able to flourish out of each. It's so good. So, like, you talk about how we were able to incorporate more under center here and looked pretty good at it. Monken would get to the next level. So, like, there's so many things, and there are other parts. I know his age also has to do with it, because then he wouldn't be someone that is as likely to be hired away by another team. That's another appealing thing. So Monken makes a ton of sense. Now, he hasn't been mentioned in the cycle yet for interviews for us. So I don't know, but
has he? I know you said he's been taking interviews. Who has he interviewed for? Like for
what
the Lions?
was it? Was it the what OC
So he was the offensive coordinator under Freddie
for the
Kitchens.
Ravens? It was said either yesterday or today where he was interviewing. I'll try to look it up real quick. Tampa opening. Yeah, he will interview in person for the Bucks OC opening Wednesday in Tampa. So going back to Tampa, which would work. I mean, like Tampa needs an OC, so that would be a good fit for him again. But yeah, that's just like Monken. And I know that there are some people who are like, why would we want Monken? Because, like he went away from Henry. Like there are spurts where we wouldn't give Henry touches. Understandable. But one, if that's the only concern you have, that's one out of compared to several positives I mentioned. And two, Henry he doesn't have passing down value. Mm-hmm. So Saquon does. Right. So it's very possible that when it comes to passing downs, he's going to be able to incorporate Saquon, and getting touches through the passing game, even when Saquon's not getting carries. Right. So that's the rebuttal to that. So, yeah.
No, I mean, I would say why I'm high on Monken is because he's done it at various different places with various different personnel and has been successful. And he elevated Lamar to a different level of passer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the reason why him and Harbaugh are not in Baltimore anymore, I think it sounds like to me it's more Harbaugh than it was Monken.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming out how Harbaugh kind of soured with that locker room a bit.
Yeah. Which I mean, we seen the success last year. That offense was humming. I mean, humming, and it's like you just need somebody competent. You need somebody. Okay, well, they're playing us like this. Let me just do this once or twice.
Yeah.
You just need to figure out a way to get 3 touchdowns a game.
Yeah. It doesn't have to. We don't need a world beater.
Right.
The talent we have, we don't need a world beater at OC.
Yeah, because you got a defense, even next year, somewhat that's going to probably average giving up 22 to 23 points a game.
Absolutely.
You need to figure out a way to score 24, 25.
Mm-hmm.
You need your field goal kicker to be more stable and consistent. That's for one.
Oh, yeah.
Which nobody is talking about that. But, all right. Done enough with the Eagle show. Let's get to the teams that's actually still
playing. Yeah. So, as I was saying, Bears, Packers, and Bears did it again. And what I had said that, like, what's funny to me is because I had reposted our clips from last week when we were talking about the keys to the game. And in my keys to the game, I had said they got to run the ball and they got to show up for 4 quarters, not just the fourth quarter.
Right.
Bro, they didn't do either of that. Their running game was non-existent, and they did not show up for the first 3 quarters. But they still – and again, or also on top of that, they didn't have a takeaway. They could have. There were several fumbles. They did not recover, but the defense didn't have a takeaway. So my biggest thing coming out of this is the fact that they were able to win this game with none of the things I had highlighted as keys and none of the things that they have been able to rely on in terms of the running game and the takeaways. They won this game still. Bears are legit. Like the Bears are, because if they can go on from here and get that run game going like it has been most of the season and capitalize on some of those opportunities for turnovers. Right. Man, they could. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not saying they're the favorite. They have a shot. They're legit. Yeah. They're legit.
Yeah. And then just think, I mean, listen, that game, Caleb still he has his moments where he just He makes dumb throws, and every QB has them. But it seems like he gets penalized more, where his bad throws wind up in the hands of the other team. It's inevitable though. Like, I know I talked about it, how the Eagles season ended, right? But I'll bring it here to the Packers. For whatever reason, for 4 quarters, they just can't put it together. I mean, you were up 21-3 at half. Everything's looking in your favor. The Bears had no life. And whatever Matt LaFleur, and I say Matt LaFleur because we've seen the Packers do these type of things before Jordan Love was even at the helm, when they still had Aaron Rodgers. They cannot put their foot on somebody's throat and put them out their misery.
Yeah.
They cannot do the final, they cannot do the kill blow. And then I think Jordan Love compounds it, but then they found a way to go up. It was 27-24, right? Matthew Golden's touchdown, his first touchdown of the year, right? So you're thinking like maybe it's destiny for the Packers, right? And then I'll keep going to it was the last drive after the Bears had took the lead, and I want to say it was a 2nd and 3, and it was a pass to Dobbs, and it crossed midfield, and it was 44 seconds left, and you had he had one timeout left, and LaFleur, horrible in-game management when it comes to managing timeouts and time. Horrible.
Yeah.
Took the timeout, and I'm like, what are you taking the timeout for at 44 seconds and a fresh set of downs? Yep. Spike it, throw it down away. You need that timeout, because you could take that timeout. You could stretch, if there's 8 seconds left on the clock, you can stretch that 8 seconds into 2 plays.
Yeah.
When you take it at 44 seconds for whatever you were trying to, I don't give a shit what you were trying to accomplish. I would almost rather you take a 5-yard loss and delay a game instead of using that timeout.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
So that's it. But I think that's what the Packers will never get over, that hurdle, if it rests on his shoulders in game. If it's critical time, less than 2 minutes, and it has to be how the coach handles that situation, he hasn't proven it to me that he can do that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. So, I mean, there are talks about him. I know a lot of Packers fans want him on the hot seat, but there are reports that the Packers might even give him an extension. So
really,
yeah.
I don't know if he deserves that.
I don't know, but I agree with not firing him. I don't know if I agree by the extension. So yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be a lame duck coach, but at the same time, I mean,
he does good stuff. Like, I mean, it's going to be hard to find a better coach than him for the Packers, because he's a good coach overall. But as you highlighted, he has his flaws.
I mean, do you think if I'm the Packers and he has a similar end to the season as he had this year, and with Tomlin sitting home now at 2026,
you look at it, maybe, but it also depends, because like I think the one pass I'm willing to give him are the injuries, because you lost the 2 best players on your team this season, right? You lost Michael Parsons and you lost Tucker Kraft.
I'll say best, the 2 most non-quarterback.
Yeah. Well, non-quarterback. Yeah. I mean, with Micah, I'd argue he is the best player
So Micah, best
player, and then Kraft would probably be like the most valuable weapon.
Like, so Kraft was the cog that made that offense be somewhat explosive, because they haven't chosen to invest in premier talent at the skill position.
Yeah. Yep. Similar to how like we make this comparison. Similar how the Niners use Kittle and what Kittle means to the offense. Kraft meant
you can just take out Kittle and put in Juszczyk. Same
as they did against us, right? So we shall see how the Packers move forward with that. They do give him an extension, but the next game, let's get into what you mentioned. The first game, which was supposed to be boring, turned out to be
exciting. There for a little bit.
For a little bit it was, and then second half came, which is like, whoa. So
Dave Canales can coach, man.
I will. The one thing I will say to this, again, because I know that we don't want to spend too much time, but I still don't know, to revisit our stance that we had weeks ago with Bryce Young. I still don't know what his ceiling is. I don't know how good he can be as a pro.
Bryce?
But man, yeah, Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he has absolute. And they announced today they're exercising his 5th-year option, which no brainer at this point. But he's earned that because despite his issues and despite his flaws and shortcomings, limitations that show up, he still has shown that there are times he shows up big when it matters. He can make some big time plays. So I'm excited to see where he keeps on going because the end of last year, the last few games, he was on a tear. This year, it wasn't necessarily like a consistent tear, but because the season was up and down for the Panthers, they would lose and then win and lose and then win, and it would be at the most random times against like teams you didn't expect them to win against. But in those wins, Bryce absolutely showed up. Yeah, he showed up. So he's earned it. I'm excited to see what he can do in another year, and I don't know what his ceiling is, but he's exciting. He's exciting to root for. I'll say that.
Yeah. So I completely agree. The Panthers is just gritty, man. I was just looking at they were down 7-0, down 14-0, then they scored 14. Then they were down in the half 17-14, matched the third quarter, matched the fourth quarter. To lose by 3 to that team at full strength too. I mean, that was saying something. Like that was
saying something. Absolutely.
Like you can walk and you don't really want, because you never know what the opportunity you're going to get again, right? But that's one of those things where like you could think that they're ahead of schedule. Like they shouldn't be taking a step back. Matter of fact, like as far as free agency players, that may be a destination to go to. Right? Yeah, maybe a destination to go to because they may need that extra help. I mean, T-Mac needs somebody with him, right? Decent running backs, Chuba and Rico Dowdle, but I mean, you could try to find another running back in the draft, things of that nature. But I feel like they're another offensive piece away. Maybe it's in the tight end, maybe it's another wide receiver. I would probably really if you put Kyle Pitts there, a lot of times players like that may not come out of, they may go to a different team, but they may not come out of the division that they were already in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I mean, the Panthers showed me something. I thought for a minute, I was like, man, they may win this game.
Mm-hmm. When they scored that final touchdown, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's very, very.
And then you got to think about it, the Seal Chase is getting looks, which is weird because he's getting looks for head coaches, and the person I'm talking about is Nathan Seal Chase, 35 years old, current Rams passing game coordinator, but I think it's Mike LaFleur, Matt's brother, who's the OC for Los Angeles. Yeah. Is he either choosing not to interview or is he not being requested to interview?
I don't know what the report is. I know there was a team. Mm-hmm. From what I saw on Twitter, I thought there was a team that was interested in interviewing him, but I don't know what the decision was. Okay. So I don't know. I'll look into that. But yeah, he's another name. He's been in the works. Like I remember Mike when he was sorry, with the Niners, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I would say if Bears Packers 1A, Panthers Rams. Well,
I'd say Panthers in terms of entertaining. I think
the Sunday night game was okay, but then
that was. I think the
line for the Chargers is this Swiss cheese, and then last night's game was
just a defensive laugh.
Yeah,
which we'll get to.
The Steelers, that was just they just you realize the Steelers just couldn't do that. But every other game came down to the last seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's get into the other one, Jaguars Bills, because
oh my God,
this was another one where you could argue another not barn burner, but when it entered, because there was heavyweights feeling each other out for the most part. Like there wasn't too much going on offensively for either of them, but when it got to the fourth quarter, they just went back and forth. Yeah. And so, I come out of this. And I don't think the Jaguars as a whole played a bad game. I think it was just the Bills were the better one. And
after the Bills went ahead, the next play after the kickoff, it went off Jacoby Myers' hands, right?
to end the game.
To end it, yeah.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers, yeah.
If Sean McDermott was in my face right now, I'd probably smack the shit out of him. I don't want to hear now. Somebody did say something. It's like the way that they run the push is different from the Eagles because the O-line for the Eagles goes after the D-line's legs. My thing is, I literally was. My mom was from Buffalo. She spent a lot of time in Buffalo. So I was like, "Did you see the playoffs?" And she's like, "No." Literally showed her at the end of the night. After he gets the burst for the first down, it's not just pushed. Allen literally gets picked up and carried. Like his feet aren't on the ground.
Yeah, I know. So I'm
like,
you have been on this, right? Even was it last year you had mentioned it?
Yes.
Where you don't think forward progress should benefit the offense regardless. Like
I don't think forward progress should benefit anybody.
Yeah. You think once a ball carrier stops, you should not be able to push them forward, or they should not be able to be pushed back. They are it ends right there. And I think that's what the I don't know what's gonna happen anymore with this darn push, but like that's what the rule change was supposed to be, or that's what they were hinting at was, okay, just how with the defense, you can't, like, once a ball carrier is there, their forward progress has stopped. Just because you push them back doesn't mean you get the.
I mean, think about it like this: from the ideology the other way. You catch a ball, you catch it at the 11-yard line. That's where the ball is pointed at. When you make contact, you establish control for your wide receiver. You get hit, and it takes you back to the 9. They're giving you the 11, right? But that's it. That's where your forward progress stops. And whistles. The refs have been trash all year, but from unit to unit, there's so much variance and inconsistency. It drives me crazy.
Oh yeah,
because I'm like, do you not see this dude's feet is not on the ground? He already had got the first.
Yeah.
But there's no way he should have ended up at the 2.
But that's the point of that's the argument for the
I haven't even seen like a big after the Eagles lost. That's been the whole talk nationally, obviously locally. I haven't heard anybody bring up that play.
Not that I haven't either. But of course they're not, because it's not the Eagles.
They try to endeavor and watch. If he fumbles the ball, he's gonna be crying and pitching a fit. And hats off to Josh and Haley. Baby bump, baby on the way, growing a family. Kudos to you. But that I don't want to win it that. If I'm him, I don't want to win it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all him. Honestly, because James Cook wasn't effective on the ground. Yeah. He's literally a myriad of passing it to different people, guys we'd never heard of before.
Yeah, and he got banged up 3 different times, or he's toughing it out.
Yeah, so I mean, if they're gonna win it, he's gonna have to run the table. He's gonna run the table, and I mean, it can happen. It can happen. I feel
it absolutely can happen.
I feel for the Jaguars. They played well enough to win the game, but they didn't. And it's like, it's one of those seasons, like, what do you do? Like, what do we need to do differently? Or what could we have done differently? Do we, like, if you're them in the offseason, like, are you looking at, do you need more offense? I think the offense may be stacked enough or may have enough, can never have too much. I think they need something, a piece of that defense. They're like, there's something that they're missing there.
They could add more to the defense. I mean, they could add more to the offensive line. I think I'm pretty sure Etienne is leaving, so they could use someone.
Who is that? Etienne?
Etienne, yeah. They could use someone with Tootin.
Do you think, like, if we don't keep Nakobe, that would be a good spot for Nakobe to go to?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see why not. They need that type of linebacker. I mean, Devin Lloyd is that kind of pass rushing linebacker as well. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I can see it. But I'd say they have good pieces on the offense. Yeah, to start, they're not far off. No. And I think this is you hate saying this, especially like we just touched on it with the Panthers. Like, you hate saying a moral victory, but it's the first season with Liam Cohen.
Yeah,
they did a good job. They in my book they were playing with house money, so they did a good job this season. Don't hang your heads too low. I think
because it's you. If it wasn't for Daniel Jones getting hurt, wasn't for Sauce getting hurt, and you don't know if the Texans do anything on offense and add pieces, then you don't know what this division is going to look like next year.
Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine the Texans will be there right still, but who knows about the Colts?
Yeah,
Daniel Jones won't be available, so yeah,
because he got hurt late, right?
Late, yeah, and it's an ACL, so I mean, that's going to take a while. Yep. So we'll see about the Bills. They got it, and they have the ability to take it, and he found a way against one of the better teams in the AFC. So all eyes are still going to be on Josh Allen. So, and it's funny, real quick before we move on to the last two. I was looking, as you can see on the show graphic. I was working on the thumbnail. I was trying to find photos of after the game of Josh Allen to go with Caleb Williams, because those were the two quarterbacks, major quarterbacks from this past weekend, in my opinion. So there are a number of photos with Caleb Williams celebrating, yelling, and I'm trying to look for pictures of Josh Allen. There's nothing of him showing any bit of emotion. He's just
which I like.
And in my head, I'm because he knows this is nowhere near over. Yeah. He knows, cool, we won. There's a long journey ahead still. So
it's almost like he's not okay. I wouldn't say it was expected, but he realized the opportunity that's laid in front of him, and
he's honed in.
Honed in. I like that. And that's what we said. If they do this, even if they just get to the Super Bowl, if they can get through the AFC, because you're going to have to go through. He has to go through the Bills, and there's a chance that he is going to have to go through. There's a Texans and Patriots.
Yeah,
you realistically can get a Bills Patriots AFC Championship game, and then at that point, it's house money. The Broncos better come out and they better be ready. They better be ready, because listen, you got home field advantage, but it's Denver, dog. The
Broncos defense can be had.
Yes,
they're good.
That's why I showed you that.
Yeah, they're very, very good, but they
can be had in the tight ends, and they have Dawson Knox and Kincaid.
Yep. Yeah, because they're not. I don't put them on the level as Texans and Seahawks. I don't There are ways.
Texans defense is this.
They're. Patriots, Chargers. Not much I'll say to this, because this was kind of like a snooze fest. Both quarterbacks did not play. Let me just say it this way: May made some plays when he had to.
Yeah. But
I still wouldn't say overall he had a great game, because he had some hiccups too. That's some turnovers. And with Justin Herbert, it sucks seeing him again, constantly being under duress. That offensive line was, especially late in the game, no time whatsoever. So, and the receivers weren't really getting open. There wasn't much for him to do.
Right.
But I think, who had said it? Derek Clausen from The Athletic, he put it well. There weren't a lot of opportunities for Herbert to make a play, but when those opportunities came for him to make a play, he did not make them.
Yeah.
So that's.
Did you see the thing on Twitter? They said Herbert and these OCs, but two of his last three OCs went to the Eagles and they went to the Super Bowl. So it's offensive line has been now it's better than what he has.
As I was saying, because PY shared that, and I was because I saw it even beforehand.
Right.
And in my head, I'm that's such a snapshot picture of the whole issue, though, because he didn't have. Sorry. He didn't have a good coach. Oh gosh.
Good and tight.
Yeah, he didn't have a good coach. You're talking about Brandon Staley there for a good chunk. And it's not like he was performing bad with those OCs.
Yeah.
He was playing well. So it's not like, again, he wasn't poor with them. The deficiencies come from head coach, from the defense injuries, and the lack of superstar weapons, which we'll get to. But with the Chargers, like Greg Roman wasn't doing him any favors. Like, and we talk about Greg Roman, a constant offensive coordinator who keeps getting these jobs, but shows that no, he's not the long-term answer that you want. He just got fired. So yeah, but not to make excuses for him. When he needed to make a play, he did not make it, and that's on him. And he's got to get out of that. He's got to find a way to step up when needed. So I love his talent. I think physically gifted as anything.
Yep.
Very, very, very talented. But we do put value on what you do when it matters most. And Justin Herbert has not been a quarterback to figure out how to make the plays when it matters. So until he does, he cannot, in my book, be mentioned near the elite tier of quarterbacks. He just cannot.
Question for you, and this is just not putting you, Johnny, on the spot. But if week 1 of the 2026-2027 Eagles season, you have a choice to have Monken and Jalen Hurts, right? Obviously, Nick is still your head coach. Or you have a choice to have Mike McDaniel and Justin Herbert.
Monken and Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Because am I factoring in the team, the rest of the team?
Yes. I'm talking about on the Eagles. You take the rest of the Eagles roster, rest of the Eagles line, rest of the Eagles personnel. Would you rather have Jalen Monken or Herbert McDaniel? 100,
like without hesitation, Monken and Jalen, because we've shown with this team they can win with Jalen, and when they need Jalen to step up in the biggest of moments, he can do that.
He can. The intangible.
I need a guy who can do that. He doesn't. The thing is with Jalen, it's fine with him not being the guy.
Yes,
and we've seen that he doesn't have to be. Saquon can be the guy, and our roster has won with that. But when you need him to step up and win the game, he can do that. Herbert has been strong, so I don't care like that he's more physically talented. What good is that going to be if he's not going to show up when you need it? Yeah, when you need it. Exactly. So and to people listening that are not Eagles fans, you might think I'm crazy for saying that, but I am a Justin Herbert fan. I don't see how if this is, and I'm taking into account the rest of the team.
Right.
Taking into account that we still have Saquon and this offensive line and defense. Yeah, give me the quarterback who's proven he can do it with a really good OC. I don't see why that would be a hot take, considering
it's not
just one.
It's not, but you would have some. And here's the problem, right? I think a lot of this is I've heard a lot of times this year, even when the Eagles were winning games, I don't like watching the team. It's not a type of football I like to watch. Like Saquon, they had periods last year when the passing game didn't hit, but then Saquon and the O-line would block like nobody's business, and he would rip off a 60, 65, 50-yard run.
That's pretty to me.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like some people just have what they have their preferences, and they wanted to look a certain type of way. So, I mean, I would figure I'd pose the question.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, last game, and this one was just kind of laughable because it played out almost exactly how we said. My thing from this, the Texans defense is scary good. Yeah. We might, when it's all said and done, we might have to start mentioning them with those all-time defenses. Might. I'm not going to say they're better, but if you're talking about conversation of absolute dominant defense of the past few generations, this is right there. This is right there. I mean, they don't, and let me add, they don't do anything crazy schematically.
No,
they don't. You as an offense, you know what they're going to run. But why are they so? What makes them so scary is the fact that does not matter, because they're going to just line up across from you and say, "We're better than you, and we're going to kick your butt." And that's.
I'm just going to look at their regular season real quick.
Watching that game. Please tell me, as you were watching the game, was that not laughable? Especially as it got later into the game, it was just laughable to see what they were doing against the Steelers. It was, you see them and they're clowning them, absolutely clowning them, and there was nowhere for the Steelers to run. And
I'm looking at the regular season in this. I'm trying to see when they played top offenses. So they played Seattle. They lost to Seattle in Seattle 27-19. Broncos, when it comes to the Jaguars, they beat the Jaguars the second time, and that was 36-29. They beat the Bills at home. And then see, because a couple games, there was a stretch here where CJ didn't play. But I'm mainly looking at this from the defensive lens to see. They played the Niners. Who was the quarterback in that game?
When the Texans played them?
Yeah, it was Mac Jones.
Yeah. Because I don't remember Purdy being healthy by that time.
I'm just, how can I say this? I'm concerned if an offense with them, because the defense is going to show up, right? The offense with them, if the opposing offense can figure out a way to score 20-something, 24, right?
Or
21.
God. Yeah.
That's when I'm concerned. Can they now answer? Because, I mean, outside of Nico, but the solution that is CJ Abbott could drop a ball in the bucket sometimes. And if he makes 3 or 4 or 5 high elite throws, that can negate what scheme wise they're doing and they're also starting to run the ball a little bit more too.
So. Yeah, that's the other key thing is they came out and they were doing something they hadn't shown before, and they were running the ball really well. Yeah. And this isn't like a bad Steelers defense. This is a good Steelers defense. So if they can run the ball well like that throughout the rest of the playoffs, I'm telling you, Texans, they have a legit, like I'd say they are right there in terms of favorites for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that is one defense I don't know if any offense can have like sustained success against over the course of 4 quarters.
4 quarters.
It is. You have to. I'll put it this way: if you're playing them, similar to how like what I said with Justin Herbert, you have to capitalize on the very few opportunities to make a play that are going to present themselves. Because like they're not unbeatable. They can be beat, but like more often than not, they're going to hit you. They're going to punish you, and they're going to demoralize you. And so like when those opportunities come, if you can't answer back by hitting on 1 or 2 explosives, to kind of put them on their heels a little bit, you're not going to do anything. Like you're not going to. You have to be able to accept the fact that success rate against them is going to go out the window. Like you're going to be fighting and fighting and fighting. It's not about success rate. It's not about down success. It's about, okay, here's an opportunity. We hit it. Now we got a chance for it.
You're probably not going to give up. You're probably not going to have like an 8 to 12 play drive and score a touchdown. Like you're going to have to hit an explosive every now and again. When you say explosive, where you talking about most teams explosive, maybe more than 20 yards, but then it may be anywhere between 15 to 20 yards, something that they normally don't give up. Just thinking what's left on the table out of 8 teams that's left.
I mean, the Bills can because they have Josh Allen.
Yeah,
so Josh Allen can make something happen.
Yeah.
Maybe the Rams because they have Puka and they have Stafford.
Rams, Bears.
The Bears can punish them a little bit on the ground.
Yeah, and like if you give Ben Johnson that extra week. It probably won't happen, but I would have loved to have seen the last time the Niners made it to the Super Bowl. Who was the defensive coordinator? It was D'Amico, wasn't it?
No, it was.
Was this? I thought Sal already had the Jets job at that point.
No, but it was another guy. I forget, and he was fired right after.
Okay.
Gosh, what's his name? Because D'Amico was before Salah. It was
You talking
D'Amico,
about
Salah,
Wilkes?
and Wilkes. Wilkes was DC when the last time the Niners went. Yeah, and he was
But I would
fired.
like see D'Amico, but that's where D'Amico may have that familiarity with that type of offense, so that and where to stop it at. And he has the personnel. But yeah, I mean it's going to rely. But that's what I'm saying. It's not like this time last year. This the difference a year makes. This time last year, this was a divisional round. Eagles were about to play the Rams, and we pretty much were like, "Yo, can't nobody beat the Eagles. Like if they don't beat themselves, you can't beat them." Like they were just that at that level this time last year. They were just playing that much better than everybody else.
Yep.
You don't have that now.
You don't.
Like all these teams are flawed.
Yeah,
in a certain way. You know what I mean? And then not just on paper, but in matchup. But then depending on what transpires in a certain game, if a team has to play a different way, say if the Patriots get down on the Texans by 10, like what do? They haven't been in that position all year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or let's say I'm not too concerned with the Rams coming back because they could just do that because of Stafford. Really, even Seattle can kind of come back. I mean, this is the third time the Niners and Seattle are playing this year, and they both teams won on the road. So this is the rubber match, right? And the one thing why the Eagles aren't playing is because we all said the Niners, but probably the worst matchup because his team strength is the defense is giving an offensive genius a way to scheme guys open just a little bit and then use a trick play to go ahead for the touchdown.
Yeah. Because our defense Eagles defense had consistent success in stopping them, but the Niners were able to hit a handful of just explosive plays. That was
a handful of explosive plays, and Q had a horrible first series.
Yeah,
Q had he had his two worst snaps of the year.
Yeah, okay,
and it cost him a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's football, right? So
football,
that's football.
That is why explosives are one of the most important aspects of football because they can change a game. Explosives and turnovers, they're so telling. So
we want to go into the divisional round preview with these last couple
let's preview just real quick. We'll give what we're looking for.
What game do you think has the highest line? Now, who's the biggest underdog this week? And what do you think the spread is?
I'm trying to look.
Don't look.
No. I'm trying to look. I'm looking at the games, and I'm trying to see. Seahawks Niners?
Yep. Seahawks favored by 7.5.
7.5. Okay.
So that means neutral site, that would be almost 10.
Yeah. So I hope 4. I hope they cover that. I hope they beat the Niners. I hope they beat them so bad. All right, so let's go down the line. So Broncos Bills is the first game, Saturday at 4:30.
Minus 1.5. That tells you all you need to know what Vegas thinks about how the belief in the Broncos and their belief in the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going Bills here. I'm going Bills.
You're going.
I
think the Bills are destined for the AFC Championship game this year.
I think it could be because I think the Bills don't have a lot of talent on defense, but
they're not facing a high-powered offense.
They're not facing a high-powered offense.
And if you think about it, if you look at the Broncos, the state game they took out with the Texans, they beat them barely. They beat us barely. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
They beat the Chargers barely and early in the season. So they had a lot of these wins that could have very easily went the other way. Instead of being 14-3, they could have been 11-6. Right? Yeah. Whereas the Bills have had to play a tough schedule and work for everything that they've had to get. And the Bills are showing the defense, while not great, if we give up 27, we feel as if our dude can score 28. But I don't know who it's going to.
Mm-hmm.
Who you want to stop? And that almost kind of helps the Bills in a way because you got to spread it out.
Yeah.
You got to spread it out. So when you got and they can run the ball, they got a good O-line and a solid defense, not stand out, but you also dealing with an inexperience. And some Broncos fans have said, like, if Peyton lets Knicks play, they have a better shot. If they let Bo be Bo, whatever that means, if they let him scramble, run, don't try to put the governor on him, but it's going to be juice in the place. But you're this dude has been doing this now. You're the number one seed, but you're facing one of the most seasoned quarterbacks left.
Who's focused and locked in. Yeah.
Who's focused and locked in. And guess what? He need to win some money because he got a baby on the way.
Got a baby coming. Yep. Yep. So got a baby and baby mama coming. So he's got to chill out. So yeah, I've got Bills. Seahawks Niners, the one I'm looking most forward to. I hope they kick their butts.
If Sam plays halfway comparable, they should win by a touchdown.
I don't expect the Seahawks defense to shut or keep them out of the end
zone like they did Week 18.
But I think they can still have similar success because without Kittle, I don't know where it's going to come from.
Yeah,
Pearsall. I don't know.
Is Pearsall playing? Is he close?
I don't know yet because he was close last week. But even so, like this Seahawks defense just suffocates.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you
true home field advantage. But it's a true home field advantage against an opponent who plays there. Who
plays there? Yeah.
You're not catching that off guard.
Yep.
Right. You're not. So.
Yeah.
I expect Seattle to win. So we got Bills going, Seattle going. Seattle's hosting the NFC Championship game, and then
Patriots Texans on Sunday. I've got the Texans. I like May, but similar to what you said, right? Mm-hmm. He's still green. He's still not a rookie, but second year, first time in the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know if this this Patriots offense has enough still. I mean, there's not an offense that has enough still, but who knows? May could still pull off some magic.
The best defense that he played this year was the Browns.
Okay.
And they scored 32. But
that's the Browns.
He threw for 3. But the Texans
they're just another level.
The Browns a step and a half, 2 steps up the ladder.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
I'd rather the defense, but yeah, the Texans are Texans. So.
But I mean, the Patriots defense, Vrabel being a defensive coach, knowing that it's almost like I give the Texans a slight edge with the better unit, but I don't think the Texans offense is that much better than the Patriots defense.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And if Nico's probably going to be out.
Christian Gonzalez on Nico. I mean,
Nico's probably going to be out, so that's the other concern.
Oh, he's hurt.
Concussion.
Oh,
and the turnaround time is less. The Texans are going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to run the ball again. Well, again this week against the Patriots team.
Nico, I'm gonna go Patriots. I'm gonna give him the home road.
Okay,
I've got Texans.
I've got Texans there. Last one, Bears Rams. Oh man,
taking the over. The over is where we at? 48.5. I'm definitely taking over.
I'll take it over.
Bears home dogs.
I'm gonna take the Bears just because they're at home, they're riding it, but I could be wrong. I could be speaking more of my heart than my head.
I actually think the Bears defense matches up better with the Rams offense than they did the Packers in a way. And Dennis Allen, his defenses have not played terrible. They have been able to give Stafford some issues, but I think the Rams have not played an offense like this all year.
Yeah. And the Rams defense can be had in the secondary. Their corners are struggling a little bit. For the Bears, it's going to come down to my same recipe. play all 4 quarters,
Yep.
run the ball, and force takeaways, force some turnovers. And if they can do that, I think
And
they have to do all that.
Luther Burden is coming along. Rome's second game back.
Yeah.
DJ Moore. If you look at him, then listen, man, you were right. You've been on this dude. Coastal Loveland is a fucking problem already. Already. And I feel like I'm like, damn, like I'm watching, like Sam Laporta was doing the same thing in Detroit when Ben Johnson was there.
He is.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, what's the
you're right to take the over. I've got the over too. I think this is
Now, the one thing I will say is that being that Stafford's been in LA now for the last 6 seasons. He was with Detroit for like 10 years. He knows what it's like to play in Chicago. He knows what it's like to play in that cold and that weather. But Puka don't. Devontae do. I can see a Kyron or a Williams or a Corn fumble. I don't know. This is just what that game is. They're so evenly matched. Like they're so evenly matched to where I'm going to give it to the home team. I'm going to give it to the Patriots, to the Bears, and I'm going to say Seahawks, Bears, 1-2 seed, NFC Championship game. Patriots, Bills, 2-5, 6 seed. I think.
I don't know. I forget what the seeding was.
I think the Bills were the 6th seed because the 4-5 matchup was Texans Steelers.
Okay. All right.
And that's
the only place we differ is Texans and Patriots. So
and that's the rubber match too. So
yep. Here we
go.
Yeah,
man, it's divisional round. It's the best weekend. It's the best weekend of football. Looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it, and it's different for us. If you're watching this from A2D Radio, right, and you watch all of our shows on the platform, obviously it's very heavy Eagle-centric. This is different for us when for me, I almost get more enjoyment watching these games than I do watching the Eagles because I can take the bias out of it.
Yeah.
I can really.
You don't have to be a fan anymore. You don't have to be a fan. You're completely just locked in from like an outside. Yeah. It's fun watching these. Yeah.
It's fun watching it like that. Before we get up out of here, National Football Championship prediction: Indiana going undefeated, or does Miami stand a chance?
Indiana.
Yeah, I think the same opposite. Indiana is this year in college what the Eagles were last year in the NFL.
Yeah,
I just don't think you can do enough to keep up with them.
So Indiana.
And his brother is the next quarterback at Indiana. I didn't know that.
Oh shoot! Wow, I did not know that either.
Yeah, Mendoza's younger brother is going to be the quarterback next year.
Oh wow, that's family ties. Taking over family business. The last thing I want to mention before we get up out of here, Tomlin fired.
Yeah.
Reactions. Like, I think this
fire.
he walked away. Okay, he walked away.
Yeah.
I think it was the right move for both parties.
Yes.
I think it was time. I've been saying it. I thought it was the right time last year. So this is just a year late for me. But it's just a matter of you have the same result year in and year out.
Mm-hmm. It's
time for a change.
And they were never truly serious about trying to find another quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they drafted Shador, right,
could have been different.
Would Tomlin still stayed?
Yeah, could have, maybe, but we don't know.
And honestly, I don't know what Aaron. I don't know how many games they won because of Aaron. If it would have been any different from him having Shador, I still think they've been in the same position.
Possibly, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, so now with Tomlin fired, with Tomlin walking away, he says he doesn't plan to coach in 2026, which means it just says somebody pay me enough. And it's a warm climate.
Yeah.
So now that leaves the Steelers, Giants, Raiders, Titans,
Ravens, Dolphins,
Cardinals,
Dolphins.
And Dolphins. Was 8?
There's a lot of openings.
So that's what that says. Ravens, Steelers, Giants, Raiders, Titans, Dolphins, Browns.
Cardinals. Did you say Cardinals?
Cardinals. So 8.
8. Unless we're missing someone. But there's a lot of openings, bro. A lot of head coach openings.
Somebody's going to get a head coach job that they're not qualified for. You may get a retread somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
the one I don't understand is Matt Nagy. I don't know why he's getting interest. I don't know what a team sees in Matt Nagy, but we'll see if he actually does it. We'll see if he actually does
I mean, we will see. Coaching carousel, man, it never stops. But with that being said, like the OC carousel, you got good teams out here like the Lions and the Eagles who don't have an OC.
We need one, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting too. All right, fam. Thank you for listening. If you're tuning in, we covered everything we needed to cover gracefully in hour 15. Jesus Christ. Make sure you enjoy the weekend of the divisional round plus the college football final. We will be here next week. Programming note, I mentioned it at the top of the show. Eagles Talk has come to an end. So that show is discontinuing. We haven't decided yet if we are going to, for just temporarily for the remainder of the playoffs, we might take the Monday night spot again temporarily. So you might see us live on Monday night. You might not. You might see us again on Wednesday mornings. But just check your feed, your YouTube feed. You'll get the notification of when we'll go on. But regardless, we will be here to recap the divisional round and preview the upcoming championship weekend for the NFL. Thank you again to Alonji Travel. Remember, if you're interested in any type of vacation, reach out to me, Charles, at alonji-travel.com. For myself, for Pete, and the rest of us at ATT Radio, we appreciate you and enjoy the rest of the NFL playoffs. We will see you next week. Until then, peace.
Peace.